I decided to take the law of attraction very seriously for 90 days, and my mind is blown. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact law of attraction practices I used, some of the major manifestations that came into my life, and why treating any spiritual practice as an experiment is really great for your subconscious to help you test results and to actually commit to whatever spiritual practice you are doing. I'm Alyssa, and I remind you that this timeline is optional. So I have been studying the law of attraction on and off for 19 years, and while some amazing things have come into my life, sometimes it doesn't feel like they've always stuck. And that is because in order to practice the law of attraction, you have to continue to keep your vibration at a high level. And that can be really frustrating, especially when it looks like your reality isn't changing. You're asking yourself, why am I continuing to believe this thing that does not seem to be working? However, when you believe that, you are actually using the law of attraction to prove itself to you. Why I use the law of attraction. So I have studied Abraham Hicks on and off for 20 years. I wasn't really on an Abraham kick the last 5 years. They started visiting me in my dreams about 4 months ago, and they kept showing me these books and processes. And because I am someone that gets a lot of my downloads during dream time, I get visions of my parallel timelines. Dream time is very important to me. And after like the third dream, I thought, okay, I need to go back to my Abraham Hicks books. I need to go back to look at these processes. Why don't I just try an experiment and see if this stuff really works? The thing about experiments when you're doing spiritual work, it's extremely powerful because you can fully commit for that time period. So I told myself I was going to experiment with Abraham Hicks for, I first said 30 days, but it turned into 90. Why did I pick an experiment? Because I knew that if I was going to fully commit, that when it felt like law of attraction wasn't working and I was going to go back to the work and go back to trying to raise my vibration, I knew that if I had a time limit on it, I could give myself that 90 days. Because when you're practicing law of attraction or any other spiritual practice, your vibration is going to dip, your emotions are going to dip. And unless you are very committed to what you're doing, you go back and sustain your baseline emotion, your baseline vibration. We are all existing in one baseline vibration, and that is what our reality is made up of. So in order to raise my vibration permanently and to see if I could really manifest anything, I told myself, look, you can do this for 90 days. And if it does not work, you can go back to shadow work. You can go back to whatever else I've been studying. So 90 days. And this was extremely important because the first month was the hardest. Now, I am someone that does meditate regularly. I'm someone that does plant medicine fairly regularly. I am aware of my thoughts. However, we are so ingrained in our own thoughts, beliefs, and emotions that we can't always see outside of ourselves. So when I committed to the Abraham Hicks work, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I did, there were mornings when I felt good for like an hour, and then something would send me flying off the high flying disc, as they call it, where I would decide I was going to be happy. I was scripting my new reality. I was wanting whatever to come into my dream reality. And then something would come into my reality that would make me feel bad or would make me feel like how I was used to feeling on that subject. For example, I had my wedding 1 week ago, and the wedding was something that was stressing me out so much. Now, I was marrying the guy I wanted to marry. I was getting married in the place I wanted to get married. There was a lot of things that seemed good about the wedding, but I had all these limiting beliefs, these patterns of thought, these vibrations, thinking things were going to go wrong, thinking about how much money it was costing, just so much anxiety and stress that it was hard whenever something with the wedding came through, like an email or a phone call. I got so stressed out that it was actually bringing me down when it was supposed to be one of the most amazing experiences in my life. And actually, I'm happy to say that because of this experiment, my wedding, I cannot imagine it being better. It was so freaking beautiful, but this is because I had committed to the law of attraction. Okay, back up. I had dreams about Abraham Hicks. They kept showing me processes in books, so I thought, what book do they have processes in? They have a book. It's in my other room. It's called Ask and It's Given. And it has 22 processes that help you raise your vibration. Now, the important thing about this is they have different processes based on what vibrational set point you are at. I've talked about this in other videos. When you are on a lower vibration, you cannot immediately jump to a high vibration. And this is why so many people get confused about law of attraction. You hear that your thoughts create your reality. You hear that it's just about feeling good. You hear that how you feel is what's going to come back into your reality, that you are literally a magnet, and what you're attracting out is what you're vibrating out is what's coming back to you. But what most people don't know is that if you are in powerlessness or depression, you can't immediately jump up to joy. And this is actually why I stopped listening to Abraham Hicks religiously in the first place. When I first learned about them, I was very excited. I thought, how cool that my thoughts create my reality. How cool that I just need to decide what I want and talk myself into it. But when I first heard about them, I was also had a lot of trauma I hadn't dealt with. I was on and off depressed. I was in a lower vibration normally. So I kept trying to get really, really happy and it would not stick. Now, what I learned about Abraham Hicks is if you are, for example, in powerlessness or depression, you need to reach for thoughts of guilt or jealousy. If you're in sadness, you need to reach for thoughts of anger. You need to move yourself up the scale. You need to pick higher feeling vibrations and emotions that are accessible to you. When you're in those lower feeling vibrational states, the higher vibrations are not accessible to you. So back to my experiment. So I would meditate every morning. They say to meditate every morning to start your day off feeling as good as you can. So I would meditate, I would listen to Abraham Hicks, or I'd read part of the book, or I'd take my dog out and I'd listen to some music that amplified the emotion that I wanted my reality to feel like. And then I would get an email about the wedding and I would spiral. Oh, this is going to cost more. Oh, we don't know we're having the rehearsal dinner. Oh, I didn't like my dress anymore. What did I do? I used another one of their processes. They have something called the focus wheel process. And you can find this in the book, Ask and It's Given, where you talk about how you're actually feeling. You're not bypassing how you're feeling, but you reach for better feeling thoughts. And then you decide how you want to feel. And you create a circle where you reach for better feeling thoughts until you start to feel better at the subject. But again, you're not going from 0 to 100. You're going from 0 to 1 to 1.5 to 2. And you're moving yourself up the scale on certain things. Now, I started doing this with my wedding because my wedding was stressing me out so much. And it was almost like within the 90 days, the universe took care of everything. For an example, we did not know where to have the rehearsal dinner. We were having like 40 people from out of town, which is a lot for a restaurant. The restaurant we wanted to have it at, they didn't have a banquet room. We didn't want to just have tables everywhere. Now, I know this sounds like champagne problems, but like, it was really important to me that these people are traveling to come to my wedding, and I really wanted to have a space where we're all sitting together. I'm vegan, so that was also something that it was like there had to be vegan options. I wanted to have drinks. I wanted to feel comfortable. And so the closest thing we found was like this yard house. And if you've been to the yard house, most of them are really big. The one by where our wedding was in Newport Beach, it was like tiny. It was like not even a yard house, but it was the only thing in the area I could find that could like fit the right amount of people, that had the food I wanted, that wasn't like, I don't know, $100 a plate or whatever. So we kind of settled on that and I was not happy. So then my fiance and my husband and I went out to eat somewhere else. And I have been doing this vibrational work. I'd been finding ways to feel better about the wedding. Even though I wasn't feeling super good about it, I was feeling slightly better every day. We go to our favorite Mexican restaurant and then we decide we want to have it there. And we're so excited. And then we tell them and they go, oh, we don't do parties on Fridays or Saturdays. And I'm crushed. I'm like, what the F? Like the law of attraction stuff. This is exactly where we want to have it. It's right by the wedding. It's perfect. I was so sad. Like I didn't understand why we couldn't have it there. Then the next day I'm taking a fitness class in Newport Beach and I drive by another location of that restaurant we had been at the night before. It's the same restaurant. It's my husband's favorite restaurant from childhood. They have vegan options. It's like so fun and I just decided to go in. I thought this location was really small. They actually specifically do private parties and have this whole area that we could rent out where we could order a buffet style. I could get my vegan food. We could have drinks. It's this Mexican restaurant. It was better than I ever imagined. The universe literally led me right there. Now I go to this fitness class a lot, but I don't usually drive that way. Because of me going the wrong way out of the parking lot, it took me literally to the best place to have the rehearsal dinner because I had been feeling better about the wedding. We booked the restaurant. The rehearsal dinner was amazing. It was exactly what I wanted. Everyone was so happy. I was like, that was a manifestation. Another thing was my wedding dress. The first one I bought, I did not like. I just decided I didn't like it. I didn't know what to do. I ended up getting another dress. And then I don't know what happened, but I ended up getting all these store credits from the store that I bought the dress off that made my dress free. And it was not a cheap dress. And all I can say is it was like the universe gave me these gifts to pay for my wedding dress because I was feeling better about my wedding. These are the sort of manifestations that came through for me just feeling good. So the main thing I did was anything I didn't feel good about, decided to feel good first thing in the morning, and I made myself feel as good as I can about each possible aspect. The makeup artist I wanted, I waited too long to ask her and she was not available for my wedding. So I'm like, okay, I'll find someone else. And then randomly she reaches out to me and she's like, actually, I'm available for your date. Now, how do I see this as being? I see this as me connecting with the parallel timelines where what I wanted was meant for me, where because I was feeling good, I wasn't having to do anything other than feel good. That's what Abraham Hicks says. They say the most important thing you do is feel good. Your top priority when you wake up in the morning is to feel good, and then feel good as long as you can. Let the universe take care of the rest. This was the hardest part for me with law of attraction, was to let it go. They're like, if something makes you feel bad, you either change how you feel about it or take your attention off the subject. This was very hard for me the first 30 days, but because it was an experiment, when I started feeling bad and I started thinking this stuff doesn't work, I told myself, look, you have 2 more months of this. Just do it for 2 more months. See what happens. You can throw away the Abraham books. You can never listen to them again. You can decide that law of attraction doesn't work. But each day that I did it, more and more things happened for me. I got literal commercials being written for me. This company that I do commercials for, they had hired me for commercials. Now they're writing commercials like for me in my voice for me to do. I got paid the week I wasn't even working, and I do like contract media work for people, acting and contract work. I got paid for the week I was off my wedding. I'm getting paid for the week I'm going on my honeymoon. I got tickets to go to Hawaii. Like all these things kept coming in. The best manifestation I have not even told you about, but some of the other things were just family and friends that I hadn't seen in forever. My connections were greater because I loved myself more. That's why I think my wedding was so beautiful. I felt more connected to everyone that was there. I felt a deeper love and I felt more loved than I'd ever felt. I cannot imagine my wedding going better, and I had been stressed about it 3 months before. I had been so stressed about it that during a mushroom trip 6 months ago, I had said to myself, should we just not have a wedding? Like, should we just go get married somewhere? Like, I had so many limiting beliefs, and I thought no one was going to show up, and like all these things that make me sad that I thought that, but I'm a completely different person than I was 3 months ago. Like, everything, every single person came. Everyone was so happy to be there. It was so beautiful. Everything worked out, and it's because of this law of attraction experiment. So back to the experiment. What you do when you're using the law of attraction is decide that feeling good is the most important thing and either change how you feel about something or put your focus on something else. When I was feeling bad the first 30 days, like I said, I'd wake up, I'd meditate, I'd feel good. Then something would shake me off. Sometimes I would take a nap. Abraham tells you to take a nap. I would take a nap, kind of start again, and just feel as good as I could for as long as I could. And I tried not to fix anything. And that's what I mean. The universe starts to fix things around you because you're starting to trust the universe by saying like, okay, my job is to feel good. Bring me things that feel good. The best manifestation that came from this was based on another thing Abraham says. If you don't know who Abraham Hicks is, it's a woman named Esther Hicks who literally channels source energy, spiritual beings, and their main thing is law of attraction. Maybe I should have started with that. Basically, they talk about how like attracts like, how you're a magnet, how you're attracting everything to you based on your vibration. Now, the way I look at it is I think that we just I still think of it in a quantum leaping perspective. Like Abraham Hicks says, whenever something happens that's not good or that you do not like, the version of how you want it to prefer goes into this vibrational reality. And so you have a better experience later because by life experience, we experience contrast. We decide what we want. We decide what we don't want. And every time we decide what we do want, source becomes it. But the thing is, you have to become in vibrational alignment with that for it to show up in your life. So how they call it a vibrational reality, I call it like a literal parallel timeline where you're connecting with whatever timeline you are most in alignment with. So that's why there's a timeline where sadly my wedding did not go well, where I was really sad, where I was still stressed, where I had my rehearsal dinner where I didn't want to have it, or maybe didn't even have the wedding. But because I kept choosing to feel good about it, it was the best experience ever. But the best thing that came in, and this was as a result of something Abraham said, that when it happened, I was like, oh my God. So they say that source knows where everything is that you want. And this happened with my husband. Like when I jumped to the reality where he was, like it knew a better person than I could have imagined for me. But it says that when you want something, source knows you want it and you're just supposed to feel good and it's going to show up, right? And it's like, that's so kind of hard for me to believe, but I kept with the experiment. So we'd been wanting to adopt another dog, and we specifically wanted a beagle. And we've been wanting it for about 6 months. And we weren't looking because we knew we had the wedding. We're going out of town at the end of the year. We got a lot going on. And we would get, like, we would see rescue beagles on TV, hear about these beagles getting rescued. And I would just like, I want it so bad, right? And we kept, like, we even had a name for it. And so we kept like joking. Which this is kind of law of attraction. We'd say to our other dog, hey, Teddy, where's Milo? Go find Milo. Like pretending like Milo's there and talking about how it's going to be when Milo's in our house and we're going to have Milo. So we decided, we're like, okay, we're going to get him next year. We're like, we have the wedding, we have the trip at the end of the year. Like, we will start looking for a beagle at the end of the year. But in my head, I also said after the wedding, sometime it's going to happen sometimes after the wedding. 4 days after the wedding, a family member texts my husband because she knows we're looking for a beagle and was at some event, which I don't even know why she was at this event, where there was rescue animals. And this one particular organization that is in the city next to us rescues beagles. And she just said, hey, when you guys are ready, check out them. So we look on their website and there was a dog that was posted the day, 3 p.m. that day. She sent it to him at like 5 p.m. at night. I looked at him. I was like, that's my dog. I filled out the application. We were looking at his pictures all night. I could not sleep because I wanted to go there. I wanted to be the first person at the shelter. So we see this dog. We fall in love with him. Literally, it's 4 days after the wedding. My husband's like, are we ready for this? I'm like, I don't care. I'm going. I go to the rescue. I'm waiting outside a half an hour early before they show up. 15 minutes after I got there, someone else came to rescue him. But I got there early. I was the first person to see him. We locked eyes. I said, that's my freaking dog. Filled out the paperwork. Milo is now in our house. And even better, they were warning me that the dogs might not get along and we should separate them, and worrying about my other dog, how he's going to feel. The minute my dog doesn't like every other dog, he's indifferent to like half the dogs at the dog park. The minute he saw Milo, they bonded. They're playing together. They love each other. They get along so good. Milo is the sweetest dog ever. They get along so well. He feels completely at home. He loves us. Like, this dog was in a lab most of his life. Like, he was tested on, like, probably didn't have people treat him well. Like, it breaks my heart, but he's bonded with us. It's our 5th day now, I think, maybe 6th day. No, 5th day. He is bonded with us. He trusts us. He wags his tail every time he sees us. Like, it's like he knows that he's safe with us. And he had probably such a traumatic upbringing. But the fact that we literally manifested the dog we wanted 4 days after the wedding, and do you know why? Because I was feeling good. Because after the wedding, I was feeling so good. After the wedding, I was in such a high vibration that so many things were coming to me. So this is all to inspire you, because every time I listened to Abraham, this was all that they were saying. They kept being like, just feel good and let the universe worry about it. Feel as good as you can all day. And if you don't feel good, that's okay. Try again tomorrow. It's like they made it sound so simple that it was like, I was like, is this really real? Because I've also done a ton of shadow work, which has helped me do things, but all it also did was make me focus more on what I don't have. Abraham Hicks says that your job is to decide what you want and talk yourself into it. Talk yourself into it vibrationally. And this is all the stuff I've been saying about quantum leaping, is feeling like you live in that reality. Is you have to feel like that's yours. Like, if having a dream wedding, I had to feel happy and grateful and loved. So feeling happy brought me all those feelings. Feeling good really is a secret. And I have also had a period where I did a ton of shadow work, and shadow work did help me because I had a lot of stuff I didn't look at. I don't know if that was actually necessary, but it was part of my path. However, I stopped doing shadow work and decided to do this experiment because I noticed that I was getting stuck with shadow work in what else is wrong with me? What limiting belief do I have? What else do I need to fix? So I was manifesting more things to fix and more things that I did not like. I'm just blown away. And like I said, the first 30, 20, 25 days, your mind is going to fight with you. You're going to feel good for an hour, and then something's going to happen. And you're going to be like, this shit doesn't work. Where is my stuff? why isn't it working for me? Law of attraction is bullshit. This is too easy. It's actually not easy because shifting your vibrational set point like requires you to incrementally shift your vibration up until it reaches a stabilizing point, because your vibration is an accumulation of your dominant thoughts, feelings, and actions. Like, you have a dominant vibration. I had a dominant vibration. You have a dominant emotional set point. Joe Dispenza talks about this too. What you're feeling on a consistent basis is your dominant vibrational frequency, but you can change it. You can change it by imagining it to be different by scripting. You can change it by meditation, literally just raises your frequency, and it can be hard at first. Sometimes your mind's going, you're like, what's happening? But you can feel yourself raise your frequency. But if you commit to this for long enough, like, I'm blown away by how much happier I am every day. And like, literally our dog coming in, like, he's like a soulmate dog. And I'm like, I was just happy. We weren't thinking about getting him. I was just so happy from the wedding he came in. Again, the wedding, I was so happy. When anyone that's planned a wedding, and I don't want to put any limiting beliefs in you, but it can be stressful for a lot of people. And it ended up, I shifted my vibration around it, and it ended up being so magical that I'm like in tears of gratitude about how blessed I am. You can shift your vibrational dominant point. And once you do that, if you're just happy, the universe already knows what you want. You don't have to continue to focus on it. You have to continue to stare at a vision board. You don't have to continue to visualize unless that makes you feel good. The only reason you want something is because you think it's going to make you feel better. So just feel better and it will come to you. However, Abraham Hicks does say, don't try to feel better so that it will come to you, because there's like, that's like the catch-22, because then you're looking for it. You're still like, hey, where is it? I'm feeling good. Where is it? Feel good and it will come to you, because you are attracting things to you, or as I like to say, you are aligning with the parallel universe where you already have it, where you already feel good. So 90 days, law of attraction. My mind is blown by how good things are, and they continue to get good, and I'm waking up happy. I can't even remember all the manifestations that came in. I just remembered another one that was incredible that ties in with the second thing that starts happening. But it's like you're so used to feeling good that when I'm telling you all these amazing things happen, you just start to expect your life to be that way, because that's your dominant vibration. Another thing that starts happening is contrast starts to feel so much worse. You start to not want to be around low vibrational people, listen to low vibrational topics, be around anything that makes you feel bad, because you start getting addicted to feeling good. And so when you do feel bad, like I said, you start the day feeling good, meditating, getting on the high flying disc, and then you fall off the disc. It feels so bad, because your dominant vibration starts to reach a higher point where feeling good is the most important thing. And the key to this whole experiment is making feeling good the most important thing. Feeling good is the most important thing. Feeling good is your job. The second thing that happens is things that you say that you want lightly flow into your experience. And this has to do with another Abraham Hicks, one of their processes. They have this thing of, wouldn't it be nice if, and if it's this game that you just say, wouldn't it be nice if this happened? Wouldn't it be nice if that happened? So one morning I had meditated and I was playing that game, and I was just like, wouldn't it be nice if I got an unexpected check in the mail? I kid you not, I got a check for $3,000 that day, unexpected, in the mail. It totally blew my mind. My fiance was like, wait, what? I told him, I was like, yeah, so I manifested some money. He knows I've been doing this thing. And I was like, yeah, I just like said that I wanted it. And the reason why I think that this happened, because now I'd like to do it every day, but there wasn't a lot of resistance on it, because I thought it would be nice and I wanted it loosely, but I kind of didn't have like, would it happen or wouldn't happen? I just said it lightly, and it was literally crazy that it happened that day. And that was more proof to me that this stuff really works. So if you're interested in doing a law of attraction experiment, I suggest that you give yourself more than 30 days. Like, maybe just do 45, but 90 was a sweet spot for me. But give yourself a certain amount of time, a certain amount of days that you're just committed to feeling good. You're committed to listening to Abraham Hicks or another law of attraction teacher. You're committed to just feeling good and being at the highest vibration that you want, and actually ignoring the things that make you feel bad. And I know a lot of spiritual teachers are like, that's not good. That's spiritual bypassing, blah, blah, blah. Well, actually, those things start to disappear when you stop giving attention to them, because our reality is a reflection of our dominant thoughts, feelings, and vibrations. It's a reflection of what we believe about reality and ourselves, and it's a reflection of our dominant vibrations. And actually, what happens when you, like, science even talks about this with the reticular activating system. The more you focus on something, you literally create it. Quantum physics says that, like, the observer effect, like, there's all these experiments that have to do with what you are focusing on, you are creating the way I look at it is what you are focusing on, that's the reality you end up in. So some of the things that I had been bothered by that I can't even pull them up in my mind now have completely left my reality. Like I said, like things about the wedding that I was so worried of. When I started just focusing on feeling good and making lists of positive aspects and focusing on what I was excited about the wedding, those things just took care of themselves because it's like they disappeared from my reality because I jumped to a timeline where everything is working out for me. So, nothing is more important than you feel good. Get on the high flying disc and just experiment with it and play and see if it works for you. Remember, this timeline is optional. Much love.